Here is our agenda. You can see that we are having a short meeting today, but it is going to be packed full of great information and a couple of awesome presentations by folks out in the district that just had some wonderful messages that I happened to hear and invited them to come here to share them with us. Joy Montgomery and Betty Gow, who we'll be calling on a little bit later in the meeting. Next slide, please. Oh, I did this already. I jump the gun sometimes. Next slide, please. Here I am. Next slide, please. We have had some great milestones this past year. The area director club visits for the first half of the year were at 100%. Oh my gosh. And 97% for the second half of the year. And it could be higher. The last peak I got, it said 97%. When I went back in to look for, the very last look before they closed it down, yeah, I missed it, so they closed it down. So I'm gonna go check and see if that's the real number. But even if it is the real number, it's an awesome number. So thank you, area directors, for 97% club visits. I have talked to a number of clubs, and they really appreciate it when the area directors meet with them, share information, show that they're concerned about how their club's doing. So this is a really important aspect of our world. One of the things I realized as I was thinking about, specific things that I was going to call out is that really the district director doesn't really do that much except watch. So it's not like this continued progress as more clubs reach distinguished status. I didn't do that. Jeff has been working on that. Linda's been working on that. So it's been happening, and I'm proud, but it wasn't me. And then the wonderful club officer trainings, I thought about that, but you know what? I didn't do that either. And then I started, and it's not on my slide, but I thought about the wonderful public relations team that worked so hard this year to change things up and provide fabulous information, but I didn't do that either. So just know that as I'm watching everybody else do their jobs, I am so proud, and I feel like I'm a part of something that's happening, but just a little bit outside my right to take credit. So thank you. And I'll be saying that again at the end of this meeting. Next slide, please.
All right. Hello, everyone. And on the screen, yes, no, maybe? Okay, Sam, cool. So we're all a year older than when we started this, and we've hopefully learned a lot. I know I have. The question nobody's asking but me is, did we make clubs better one member at a time? Next slide, please. The answer is, I think we did. We may not have reached a lot of new members, but most of you came back for more. We made it most of the way to the ambitious open house goal I set, and we blew last year's number away. I think we were at like 50% of the clubs last year ran an open house. Next slide. If you have a sense of deja vu, that's because you were at the business meeting. This slide is from there, but these are the things that we got done last year. We made open houses easier, we made tracking new leads a lot, not that most people saw this part, more team efficient, and we reached out to see what kind of specialty clubs you wanted to see. But bandwidth, time, schedules, and ennui were pretty powerful. So there were a bunch of goals that I set for myself that were left on the table. Next slide. We have 2 clubs that are live, 3 that are already meeting, and a bunch that I'm handing over to Dennis to work on for next year. Next slide. We have some clubs that said no thanks to a lifetime of learning and living in front of an audience, and that's okay. We have 2 clubs that can be rescued into new clubs. Most of all, we understand that when a club disbands, there are always members who want to keep going. If you know members who have to change clubs or are leaving your club, please let me know. We can place them in new clubs. We can find them in new homes. So let us know. Next slide. I want to take a moment to say thanks to Artie, Priya, Amrit, Tim, Jill, and Kat. My team was there for me when I needed them, and they operated outside the boxes that I started them in. And I kind of have regrets for not using them more than I did this year. But they stepped up and they said yes. And they wore extra hats this year for various teams, some of them not even my team. So thank you for everything you did this year. And go ahead, next slide, please. So what did I learn that I can pass on to the new club growth director? Number one, always aim higher, even if your ideas explode before you reach your goals. There's always a room to pick up the pieces, rebuild, and reposition. Number two, work better with my teams. I learned to delegate because I couldn't be everywhere at once. This took me longer than Sally wanted me to learn, but that's okay. Number three, phone calls and voicemails and emails still get unanswered. The answer is be pesky and be persistent. One of my best leads from last year was someone who hadn't been contacted in over 2.5 years, but they were still out there and they were still willing to try to start a club. Next slide, please. And for next year, a sneak preview. Do officer training with a purpose. I want to see more people find reason to show up for TLIs and officer makeup trainings and the DECMs, which we're redesigning next year. Number two, plan and schedule calendar events. Forward-looking is forward into success. And most importantly, using the last thing I say is the last thing to remember, club success plan. You're going to hear this a lot in the next few months because for all your clubs, area directors, pass this on. If you don't follow the official club success plan on World Headquarters, TI, you cannot be distinguished as a club. So I'm looking forward to next year. And that is it for me.
All right, next slide, please.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So for public relations, I'm stepping in for Lee Thompson. She is in Alaska right now on a cruise. And what I'd like to do is go over what we accomplished and who is on our team from compared to last year. And I will move to the next slide. Okay, that is, and so there's a number of changes, but obviously we had some observations that we'd like to point out of what worked and what didn't work. And I'll be making note of those in the next slides as I announce the new team members. Next slide, please. So here is, as you know, a large part of what goes on in the district involves email. You're all familiar with the weekly digest that comes out on Sunday nights. Derek Ho did an outstanding job of setting that up and managing it to become the standard for all events and communications on a weekly basis. That is now being managed by Naveen Shastri. And the job also involves managing our MailChimp database, which anytime a group of people in the district need to be contacted, that involves MailChimp. And he will be managing that as well. However, that is a huge job, and an additional person is needed to help Naveen because that is a tremendous way that the district reaches out to everyone. So please let me know if you're interested. Another email activity that we engage in is, of course, our monthly newsletter, the Dispatch. Lee Vaughn did an outstanding job of managing that and being the chief editor last year, and that is being transitioned to Sonia Lee Garber, who actually has publishing and editor experience at a local city journal where she lives. And I'd also like to announce that our next upcoming issue will be arriving in a couple weeks, and the deadline is June 20th if you have an idea for an article. Next slide, please. As you know, our website was recently refreshed. Just an amazing and total turnaround from what it was prior to last year. And Gerlando was responsible for all of that. We are so glad and so fortunate that he is continuing on with us this year as the website administrator. And accompanying him, of course, you're aware of the calendar function on the website. That was being managed by Eric Brusha and Karen Beauvoir, and that is being transitioned to Maureen Filler, who was division director and has a lot of experience and is going to carry that forward. She will be approving your event submissions adding them to the calendar, and making sure that they have RSVP functionality. That was a big source of inconsistency last year. Some people observed that there was not necessarily a way to register for an event. And she's going to make sure that that is possible going forward. Next slide, please. Social media. We're grateful that Ananda Sen is going to continue as the Facebook administrator, promoting our district on Facebook. And then as far as Meetup goes, as you know, Sri Goodreddy did a fantastic job in making that so much more efficient and enabling clubs to establish a presence on Meetup. That is being transitioned to Kanaya Kwan. So any of you out there still have questions on how to get yourself, how to get your club on there, please let her know. Next slide, please. And multimedia and video for the district. We have a podcast series known as Speak, Lead, and Grow, which was set up by Dee Marie Shyking, and that is being transitioned to George Thompson and Donna Walters. The goal of that program is to interview people in the district who have announcements as well as seminars that they'd like to provide on certain areas of speechcraft. And YouTube, I will be continuing as the director of that channel to maintain the channel and make sure it has important recordings. Next slide, please. Graphics. Graphics are a huge job because every time an event comes out, anytime that we need to announce something that's coming up, it works so much better if there are graphics like a flyer or avatar or what have you that is accompanying that announcement. So Allison was our graphics design director, and she is stepping down to be replaced by Anjana, who is going to make sure we have outstanding flyers to be published on social media and in targeted email campaigns. We typically use Canva to do a lot of that, and it's a big job, so we're seeking 1 or 2 additional people who want to develop their skills in graphic design, including learning Canva and other tools to create these. So please let us know if you are interested. Next slide. And finally, a few strategic roles. VPPRs of the club level need assistance in spreading best practices, and that is being taken on by Janet Voss. Zoom czar. We're so fortunate that George Marshall has agreed to be the manager of administering all the Zoom accounts that we have and making sure that events get connected with their appropriate Zoom links. And finally, we're glad that Wing Locke is going to be on our team as a consultant role. And with that, I'd like to, say that we're just proud and we're just fortunate to have these individuals. And like I say, there are openings on our team as well in those roles that I described. So please let us know if you're interested. With that, I'll turn it back over to, I believe, if Linda is back on. Okay, thank you.
Looks like I'm driving the slides.
Okay, thank you, Hans. I just wanted to say it's not in the slide deck because you weren't supposed to see it, but Lisa asked me to announce that she is providing you with a certificate of achievement for managing our D57 YouTube channel. We are thrilled to recognize Hans Thoma for his outstanding contribution to public relations, District 57. His leadership in managing our YouTube channel, supporting podcast production, and enhancing PR operations reflect exceptional creativity, dedication, and strategic insight. Awarded on June 14th, 2025. Congratulations, Hans. All right, next slide. Well, what are we doing?
I think we may have gotten Linda back. Linda, are you on now?
Linda's back.
Okay,
Okay.
awesome.
Can we go back to her first slide, please?
Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, so May 17th, we had our annual hybrid conference. It was well attended. Some things that we did do well, we had a great atmosphere of teamwork and camaraderie, and I thank those of you who helped me get to the emergency room and to get back. Just to know I am in good shape at this particular point in time, and we flourished in our in-person attendees. Great breakout sessions and keynotes. Unfortunately, we'll talk about that in the next slide. Unheard of in-person conference. We did finish early this time, like we did last year. Great food, raffle baskets, and authors books. Next one. Some of the things that we didn't do so well. Our virtual attendees, I so apologize. You did not actually get to participate in any of the activities. And for that, we will do better next year. We did not record either the presentation for our keynote or for our award winner. And again, all the running around, we had some challenges with that, and I do apologize. Next. Okay, here you are. You're kicking it at every level. District-wide, we have 744 path levels completed. We have 38 clubs with 9 or more pathways completions. And we have another 33 with between 5 and 8 level completions for a total of 71 clubs providing just excellent educational opportunities for their members. I'm really proud of you all for kicking ass. Next one. Up to date, this is as of Thursday. We have 35 distinguished clubs, and we can get more. Next. District-wide, this is challenging. We have 3 clubs with sufficient membership, but need 1, 2, or 3 educational goals to be distinguished. Not much, they can be done. We have 8 clubs with 5 or more DCP points and just need 1 or 2 more members. Go out there and grab those members off the street and make them Toastmasters. We have 5 clubs with 5 or more DCP goals, but just need 3 or 4 members. And we have 3 clubs with 5 or more DCP goals and just need 5 to 8 more members. So they're all doable goals that can be done in the next 2 weeks. And I want you to put the pedal to the metal and let's make it happen. Next. So if you think about that, we have 35 distinguished clubs already. We can get another 22, which will make it to our district number 57. As Sally would say, just saying. Next. So your call to action. What can you do to help achieve the goal? Well, first of all, you can pay your renewal dues. Second, you can encourage your club mates to do the same. You can go to your clubs and really recruit new members. Bring in new club leads to our outgoing PQD and our incoming PQD, and start new clubs. So not only do we want to start new clubs, but we want to make sure that we don't lose other clubs that we could save along the way. It just isn't right, and it's not fair. So we're looking at both ends of that 2-pronged fork. Next, Jeff. I think it's you. Oh, more? You can, as leaders, division directors, and area directors, you can guide your clubs to recruit new members, becoming member eligible to meet the 4+4 DCP points. Remind all your clubs of the importance of running excellent and supportive club meetings. And I think Jeff is going to emphasize that next year in his PQD role. And encourage all of your members to earn path levels. And maybe even encourage them to have something that they could give them that would be a representation of all the hard work that they've done to make those levels happen. Next. And that's Jeff.
All right, thank you, Linda. It was worth waiting. All right, Winnie Ma, you are up.
Good morning, everyone. I don't have the slides, but I would like to update where we are at. We have finished the 3rd quarter certification and narratives for Toastmaster International, and we are working on the May close. And then next month, we will close the book, and finish the June close and have the year-end audit. And today I would like to share with you the lesson learned during this year. I learned a lot, and I hope that all the area director and division director, they learn a lot as well because of the policy. And I want to ensure that everyone submit their expense report timely, and the receipts has to be within 60 days. And the clubs need your guidance and information to do their work properly. And watch out on the deadline, plan and ensure that we complete the information early before the deadline. This is my suggestion for the current directors that they may be promoted to a higher level to be the division director or district leaders. So watch the deadline and make sure that to submit your receipts within 60 days, to be in compliance with the Toastmaster International policy. Otherwise, we would have the audit exception. So at this point, I would like to delegate to Mercy De Rosario, Assistant Finance Manager. She will tell you more about the deadline, for the incentive and award. Please help me to welcome Mercy.
Next slide, please. Congratulations to all who have submitted their Elite Triple Crown requirements, the OTMA requirements, and also their DTM requirements. I believe there were 4 DTM awardees last conference. Congratulations to all. Some of them are not really first time. Some of them are 3 or 4 DTM awards. With the Elite Triple Crown that was awarded last conference, other members who have not submitted their Elite Triple Crown have a chance to do it. Because as soon as you meet this deadline, June 16, 2025, your Elite Triple Crown Award, you will receive at the installation of officers and also awards night. I don't know when is that, but I know it's somewhere in July next month. And also you will also receive the OTMM as soon as you submit to us your 1,000 points total to accomplish all those skills and achievements. And lastly, I will check on the Toastmasters International for DTM awards. Besides the plaque from Toastmasters International, District 57 has the courtesy to give you a DTM badge, I believe it's called, DTM medals, just like in the picture, and also a DTM pin. With that, I wish you all the luck in the world to meet the deadline of June 16, 2025. If you happen to achieve Elite Triple Crown OTMA by June 30, you will get awarded too, but it will be awarded on the next District 57 activity. Is there any questions?
Actually, I'd like to offer a correction. In order to achieve any of the Triple Crown Awards or the OTMA Awards, that's based on work completed this program year. This program year isn't over until June 30th, okay? So all work done through June 30th and in the system is recognized and will be recognized at our end of year party. For the OTMA award, because that is paperwork that individuals must submit, again, it's based on work completed this program year. So you actually have until July 15th to submit that paperwork and get it into district leadership. And again, it'll be officially recognized at the end of year party. And that's going to be on August the 9th. So the end of year party is August the 9th. It's going to be a midday party, and we'll be replacing our old concept of a DECM meeting on the second Saturday. So instead of a DECM meeting, we will be having an end of year party on that date. And other details with regards to OTMA submission will be sent out soon. That's all I can say about that. Okay?
There's a question. I think there's a question on the chat. And I think Linda tried to answer that, so I think Linda already answered the question.
But it's worth stating the question. I asked whether the ETC, the Elite Triple Crown, is something you have to apply for. And Linda did say that it's something that will be awarded automatically based on information on the TI website. So no one has to apply for an Elite.
That's the Triple Crown Awards, that's correct. You don't have to apply for Triple Crowns. It's automatic, and it's what's in the system as having been completed by June 30th. And for the OTMA, there is paperwork that needs to be submitted. And because the work can be completed by June 30th, then we give some lag time for actually getting that paperwork signed and turned in to July 15th.
Okay, I have another addition for the Elite Triple Crown. It's not the same as the Elite, the Triple Crown from Toastmasters International. The difference is that you have to complete 2 paths plus a level 5. Oh no, two levels and level 5. So we consider that as Elite Triple Crown. However, when I called Toastmasters International Educational Program, I asked them if finishing the mentoring program is can be considered as level 5. They suggested to me that consider it as level 5 because you finish the mentoring program path. So that in addition to the level 5 requirements from District 57.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, it's quite possible that we are the only district in the entire world that has an Elite Triple Crown. Most districts, their Triple Crown is any 3 levels and they get a certificate, and that's the award for a Triple Crown. And years ago, I didn't do this. This has been a practice here in District 57 for a while of having our special Triple Crown. I just gave it a new name. But it's the same Triple Crown that we've had in District 57 for a while now. Then we have a regular Triple Crown, which is 2 levels plus a level 4, and others. So take a look at them in the incentive program. We have several different levels of Triple Crowns that we recognize within District 57. All right.
Thank you all for your contribution to this presentation. It's the end of our presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Can we stop the share for a moment, Lisa? I'm going to put our regional advisor on the spot. Rose Kirland, do you have any words of wisdom that you would like to share with us today? And did I catch you? Oh, there you are.
Isn't it just like Toastmasters to put you on the spot and surprise you with this wonderful honor? Yes, I would like to say a few words, if that's all right. Everyone here, what a joy it is to be here with you, and we can laugh and we can reflect a lot. And I had the honor of meeting so many of you at my last region visit last fall. And so this moment for me is a tribute To you, the district leaders who may have run a full campaign and discovered more about yourselves. To the club officers who kept showing up even when attendance dipped. And to the mentor who checked in not because of duty, but because of your heart. Especially, I remember Jeff doing that when I was there. Thank you, Jeff. To the leader who figured out Zoom, not because they wanted to, but because someone had to do it, right? It's for all of us who said yes. Yes to stepping up, yes to leading, even when it wasn't easy or clear. We all live the district mission. Thank you so much for building with integrity, for supporting with respect, for inspiring through service, and together we pursued excellence. Thank you, Program Quality Director Linda Patton and your team for all of that and your quality. This isn't just success, it's a legacy that you are leaving. Toastmasters, we know, gives us a safe, but sometimes very wild place to grow. It throws us those curveballs, and yes, those wonderful spreadsheets. But we always say, you've got it, because we know we all care. So now I know that you are all dreaming about July 1st, when your inbox starts quieting down and you don't get those late night calls. But I just want to remind you that our international president, Ronnie Spear, reminds us, finishing strong is a mindset. It builds the habits of lifelong success. So in these final weeks that matter, let's shape how this term is to be remembered. To each and every one of you, thank you so much for stepping up in leadership. Thank you for supporting your district directors, Sally Philbin. Thank you for staying the course because you didn't give up. And that's what leadership is about, and you've demonstrated that. So let's finish strong, District 57, with the joy and the purpose and who you really are with heart. Back to you, District Director.
Thank you so much, Rose. You never disappoint, and I appreciate you stepping up and helping us this past year. It's been an amazing journey, and you've been there every step of the way. Thank you. May we go back to our share screen, please? All right, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our first speaker. We have Joy Montgomery. She is a member of, oh gosh, Joy, I just forgot, but she's a club member here in District 57 who I was honored to hear speak. And I was so moved by her presentation that I asked her to come today to repeat that delivery for all of you. Joy, who is a DTM, believes that the mutual respect and a sense of humor go a long way toward creating effective communication across cultures, education levels, and generations. She's an expert in effective business communication with real-world experience. Her presentation, Improving Productivity with Effective Communication, was presented at an API CS International Conference in Orlando, Florida, and at a bar camp for the Product Management Association. At a bar camp on the Yahoo campus, she presented, if you want to hit the deck running, there has to be a deck. Specifications, standards, and procedures. Joy is a 2024-2025 Elite Triple Crown recipient. She is writing coach, a pitch coach, a developmental editor, and a written and verbal communication judge. Please help me welcome Joy Montgomery, the perfect pitch. Don't go for perfect, go for clear, concise, and compelling. 4 steps to effective pitching. Please welcome Joy Montgomery. And now, yes, there you are.
Thank you, Sally. And hello, fellow Toastmasters. I'm starting with a story. We were chosen. We were handpicked for this special project. and all of us were so excited. It was called System Certification. We were going to look at everything that came along in the research and development department for a big MIS department and evaluate it before it went out to the users. Oh my gosh, we worked so diligently. And we were chosen for our different skills. I was the methods analyst on the team. The rest of them were programmers. At the end of a 6-month trial period, our team lead had a chance to present our results to the board. He handed me a presentation that he had diligently prepared, and it was about a 2-hour presentation. I said, Hal, they're not going to listen to you for 2 hours. This is the board of directors. You need to say what you have to say in no more than 15 minutes with time for Q&A. And he said, oh, so I stayed up all night redoing his presentation, got it down to about 5 to 7 minutes. And then he had plenty of time for Q&A. He went into the meeting and started his 2-hour presentation. In about 5 minutes, the board of directors members started leaving the room. When this fiasco was over, Hal was still talking and no one was left in the room. All of us who were on the team were returned to our original positions, and none of us got an annual raise that year because we had wasted company money. We had fabulous results. They never heard them. They never knew about the problems we solved. They never knew anything but how we did it. Just piles and piles of information on the technology that was used, and not a single thing about any business benefits. Well, that's a story of a project undone by a bad pitch. Now, if we can go to the first slide, I don't want you to be afraid when you see it, because this is not the result of me being in a bar fight. It's eye surgery gone bad. So don't be frightened now. I'm not that violent. The first step in a pitch is to tell the audience what problem you solve. And it has to be compelling and it has to be urgent in their minds, not in yours. So your job is to present something where immediately the audience says, oh, all right, this is a topic that's important to me, and they're going to start listening. The reason there are no words on the slide is because I'm not one of those people who stands with my back to the audience and reads a whole bunch of words off of a screen. Don't do that. You don't have to have any words on a screen. You can have something as simple as this that makes people look at you, connect with you, decide if they can trust you. If your back is to them and you're just reading a screen, they don't get any of that. Next slide. Oh, for that one, a compelling thing might be 14 million dead and dying trees are increasing the intensity of wildfires. That can get attention. Now, the key is how you're going to solve this problem. And it's short. I ask people to give me one sentence for the problem they solve, one sentence for how they're going to do it, and one sentence on what's following in other screens. And I'll get paragraphs on the technology, on the methods they're going to use. And I can spend hours and hours trying to pull out of those paragraphs what the problem is that they're solving, and just a single sentence about how they're going to do it. In a normal pitch deck for investors, it's a 10-slide deck. How you do it is one slide, 1/10 of the time. And you get people who spend 100% of the time in all 10 slides, or maybe even 85 slides, talking about how they're going to solve the problem, and people haven't figured out yet what problem they're solving. Next slide. The impact. This is where it gets really important. You've told them what problem you're working on, given them a little bit of information on how you're going to solve it. It probably included asking for money or time and getting into a budget. So now what are they going to get for that? What's in it for them? In the case of removing dead and dying trees from the forest and the expense that's going to take, that can be measured in millions and billions of dollars of firefighting and lost lives. That has plenty of impact. In the campfire, they keep saying 85 people, I think, died. There were 86. There was an unidentified man in an area called Concow on the side of the Feather River Canyon where the fire started. And no one knows who he was. They don't know how he came to be there. They just know that his remains were connected to the remains of another person who was identified. He may have been trying to save her. No one knows. But those kind of impacts, that's what people are looking for, especially if it's a business problem. And you started out by telling them, we're losing $81,412 a quarter in return merchandise because it's damaged when it gets to the customer. And then you tell them how you're going to solve it, and it involves spending some money. But now you're not going to have those returns. You're going to have happy customers. That's impact. That gets them right away. That's what they want to hear. Even if it's you pitching to your teenager how you want a behavior change, when it comes to the impact, then they're going to pay attention. They're going to, oh, I'm going to benefit from this. And that's what this is about. Next slide. And of course, one of the biggest things is it's about you. People work with people they know and trust. So you need to look at yourself and figure out, why are they going to trust you? Why are they going to believe that you're the one to implement this change, whatever it is? In the case of the teenager, there's no question. You get to do it because you're the parent. You're the one in charge, unless they decide to become emancipated, and you might offer that as an option if they're really a big problem. But for business problems, for investor pitches, that's one of the most important things. That's why you don't want screens full of words. That's why you want people looking at you, making eye contact with you, deciding if they trust you to make this happen. If you presented a wonderful case up until now, and you aren't able to build that trust, haven't built it while you're talking, and aren't able to cement it now at the end, you've lost the whole thing. So here's where you really need to think ahead of time. How is it that I'm going to present myself in a way that these people will understand that I'm capable of implementing this change, that I can stop the returns of damaged merchandise, that I can reduce the number of dead and dying trees in the forest, that there is some proof of concept. There is some way that they'll know that this will happen and that I am the person to make it happen, that you are the person to make it happen. We're pitching all the time. Whether we know it or not, we're all salespeople. And this is a special, easy way to make that sale. Got any questions?
Let's go back to this view. Are there any questions? If you could raise your electronic hand, we can see you. I don't see any.
My
hearing.
goodness. I must have made the perfect pitch.
You did. It was concise, it was clear, it was entertaining. Oh, Jeff has his hand up. Okay, we have a question.
So Joy, thank you for your presentation, first of all. And I have a question, is that what do you do when the person reviewing your speech or your presentation says it's still too complex. How do you simplify things down to something that, I don't want to say even a fifth grader could understand, but
That's
that's
basically
the main
it.
criticism I get with my presentation is it's still too complex.
You do that up front. And that's where I mentioned the thing about having one sentence about the problem, one sentence about the way you're going to solve it, one sentence about the impact. At that point, it's a matter of people asking questions if they want to dive deeper into it at the end. But you keep it moving, even in a 10-slide deck for investors, it's usually either 10 minutes or 20 minutes. Sometimes it's only 3 minutes that you get to talk. I actually have a 1-minute pitch that I do in meetings where people give you a minute and it has to contain all of the elements.
Yeah, because
I
the way I
could do
wound up
that for
working
you.
around it was my manager in question said, let's just drop your presentation, and if I need you, I'll call on you for a question and answer. And she actually called on me, and I was able to explain to the other people in the room what the problem was, and they understood. But I kind of wanted to revisit that and say, what could I do to fix that better? But thank you, though.
That sounds almost like the theater thing where you're auditioning for a show and they say next.
All right.
And we have another question here from Lindy.
Oh, Lindy, how nice.
Hi, Joy.
Hi.
Great presentation. I'm a big proponent of being concise. So will you be our next year's district conciseness manager? It's a real
Is
role.
there actually a role like that?
Yes, there is now, because you
Oh my
did such a
gosh.
good job.
I actually thought a while ago, I think I could make a living when Twitter was 140 characters. I think I could make a living reducing people's pitches to 140 characters.
Okay, so I am serious. Will you say yes to that?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Now I
Wow.
have a new title to wear.
That's how we make things happen around here. Joy, thank you. Everyone, please show your gratitude and appreciation to Joy. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, who is the president of Lakeside Speakeasy Club, my home club. And I heard her give this presentation, and I want to tell you what an amazing person I am in being able to convince her to give this presentation today. And here's how it went, okay? Here's how it went. Betty, I said to her at our club meeting, do you remember that speech you gave? It was either last week or the week before. She goes, yeah, I remember that speech. I said, I can't quite remember exactly what it was about, but it was awesome. And I would love to have you give it at our next DECM meeting. This is the sleep-deprived Sally, okay? She's lucky to remember how to get home every day. And Betty said, oh, absolutely, I can do that for you. I'm telling you, if that wasn't the worst request I have ever heard. Thank you, Betty. Betty, who is, as I said, the president of Lakeside Speakeasy Toastmasters. All of us have trouble motivating ourselves at times. In this presentation, coming under the pathway, under the path, Presentation Mastery, Betty will share a story illustrating the connection between motivation and a deeply cherished value or idea. Please help me welcome Betty Guo. Finding Your Motivation. Finding Your Motivation, Betty Guo.
Thank you, Sally, and I'm happy to give this speech again for you, regardless of how the request was made. How many people here have had trouble motivating themselves for doing something that you want to do? It seems pretty common. It's really easy to tell yourself, well, I should clean out the garage or I should exercise more. But the hard part could be motivating yourself to do it. But this isn't always the case. Sometimes you might find that you're highly motivated to do something, or you're totally unmotivated to do something else. So why is that? Why is it that sometimes we can motivate ourselves and sometimes we can't? I believe that the key is connecting the action that you want to motivate yourself to do with an idea or value that you cherish deeply. I have a friend whose name is Kent, and 20 years ago, he was not living a life that he was happy about. He was drinking too much. He was working a part-time job at a bank that he hated. And at the same time, he didn't feel motivated to make any change in his life. Now, one day, he goes to the emergency room with a splitting headache. And after all the tests are done, he's told that he has a large brain tumor. He's also told that because he doesn't have health insurance, there's nothing more that could be done for him. So they sent him off with a handful of extra strength Tylenol, tell him to go home. And he understood at this moment that he was being sent home to die. But before he exited the building, someone tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Be at this building on this day at this time, and make sure that you enter from this specific door." So Kent shows up at the specified place at the specified time. And when he gets there, there's a medical team waiting for him to prep him for surgery and perform brain surgery on him free of charge and possibly at risk to their own jobs. This is a true story. And 20 years later, he is still cancer-free. Now, in the years that followed and during his recovery, it didn't escape him that he had been given a tremendous gift. So he felt motivated to give back. He felt that he had to show gratitude to those who saved his life by living a life that was worth saving. He started taking better care of himself. He, despite financial hardship, went back to school. And eventually, he earned his degree and became certified as a recreational therapist, helping others overcome trauma. And this is a job that he has described as the best job he could ever imagine. Now, you don't have to undergo brain surgery or encounter a near-death experience in order to use the principle that helped motivate him. What it is really is a mental reframe. He felt that he needed to live his life a certain way because he deeply cherished the idea of showing gratitude for those who saved his life. Another example is of the woman who couldn't stop smoking, unsuccessfully tried for years. And then one day, her 5-year-old, who had just learned the hazards of smoking, looked at her and said, "Mommy, I want you to stop smoking because I love you and I want you to live a long time." Wow. After that, she never picked up a cigarette again. It was a mental reframe. She connected stopping smoking with her wanting to be around for her child. You also don't have to use this for something that's life-changing. You can use it in any aspect of your life for a big goal, a small goal. I've personally used it for changing bad habits. For example, I wanted to speak up more in meetings. And what I did was I told myself that if I have something to contribute to a meeting and I keep it to myself, I'm being a bad employee. And because being a good employee is a deeply cherished value that I have, I could no longer continue to do that. So it worked because I dislike being a bad employee more than I dislike speaking up at meetings. So whether you are looking to make a big life change or just to break a small habit, motivation is key to get the ball rolling as well as to accomplish your goal. So think about what you want to motivate yourself to do and how you can get yourself to do it.
Thank you, Betty. Thank you so much. Does that not describe what we do here in Toastmasters? We're volunteers, and why are we volunteering? Because there's something inside us that motivates us to grow, to learn how to do new things, and to help other people grow as well. And at this time of the year, when we are looking for new leaders to continue that strategy, that idea of self-motivation, this presentation really speaks to all of us. Can we go back to the slides, please? And I'd like to call on Dennis Dawson. He's not on our agenda, but you know, what do you learn in Toastmasters? You learn how to be flexible. And being flexible is what we're all about. Dennis.
That's interesting. This ties into what we were just talking about because I volunteer a lot. I draw with fourth graders once a week. I play Santa at Christmas in the park. And of course, everything we do in Toastmasters is volunteer work. I'm here to talk about the profound and unexpected joy that comes from pushing past comfort and finding true satisfaction in service. This past spring, I embarked on a brand new adventure. I was a leadership coach for the Braven program. For 16 intensive weeks, I guided San Jose State students through resume building, networking, and capstone projects. Each week felt like preparing for a mini TLI, and honestly, there were moments I struggled to master the material before sharing it. At the end, they were appreciative, but I secretly wished I could have done more. Now, just yesterday, an email landed in my inbox. Would you please return to lead a cohort this fall? My initial thought was, why would I put myself through that again? It was so much work. But then I thought, now wait a second, I've done it once. I understand it now. I could do a much better job this year. So despite the challenge of stepping into the club growth director role, I'm committing my Tuesday nights to leading another Braven cohort. Why? Why would I at 66 take on more stuff? Why not just kick back and relax? Well, as Daniel Pink wisely tells us, true lasting happiness isn't found in endless vacations or accumulating possessions. It's found in satisfying work. For me, volunteering is fun, with the added bonus that I can look back and feel a deep sense of pride in what I've accomplished. Now, you're approaching the end of your tenure as area directors. Some of you are moving up, and that's fantastic, but those roles are few. Once you've had the experience of serving as an area director, it can feel different to simply go back to being a plain old Toastmaster. Now, for some, serving as a district officer is about earning credit toward the Distinguished Toastmaster Award, but let's be honest, for some people, DTM might mean don't time me or diva that's mediocre. I even heard one the other day, did the minimum. While they might get the medal and the plaque, they don't truly distinguish themselves through ongoing dedication and impact. So my question to you is this. Are you truly satisfied with your AD experience and ready to move on? What if I told you that Toastmasters rules allow you to repeat the role for a second consecutive year? Imagine this time you wouldn't be learning on the fly, you'd hit the ground running, already knowing your clubs, ready to establish success plans, empowered to focus on helping them achieve President's Distinguished status from day one. Now, some of you might be thinking, ugh, why would I put myself through that again? And if that's your genuine feeling, I completely understand. You're not the leader I'm speaking to right now. I'm talking to the person who just thought, wait, I can do this again? You all know that this is a pivotal year. This year, we set a bold goal to launch 25 new clubs across our district. Are you ready to be part of that monumental achievement? If there's a little tickle in your stomach, a quiet voice saying, let's do it again, and let's do it even better, then please reach out to us. Connect with Lindy, Jeffrey, Sally, or Dennis at d57tm.org. Let's talk about how you can build on this year's foundational success to achieve your communication and leadership goals and leave a lasting legacy for our district. Sally.
Thank you so much, Dennis. I must tell you that the first time I served as an area governor, and I got to the end of my year and I thought to myself, you know, I think I missed something. And so I did it again. And that second year, second time in a row, was the most rewarding year imaginable. Because like Dennis said, I hit the ground running. I knew what was expected. I had an idea. I served in the same area, so I knew the clubs and the players. Oh my gosh, what a fabulous second year I had. And I know that Jeff thinks I'm going to call on him next, but I'm not. I'm going to take a moment just to do a quick call out, because we are about to embark on a new Toastmasters year. And as an embarking, which is kind of what Dennis was talking about, we're headed into a new year, I'd like to acknowledge our new trio and our new division directors. I don't know that they're all in the room, but a bunch of them are. Lindy Sinclair is in the room, our new district director. Thank you, Lindy. Our new program quality director, Jeff Young, is in the room. Our new club growth director, Dennis Dawson, is on screen. We have 5 new division directors. Division A, Daniel Wass. Division B, Daria Hoover. Division C, Ray Gowan. Division D, Aaron Van. Division E, Jasmine Jacoby. A warm welcome to all of them. Is Ray? All right, Ray, good to see you. We are here to support you throughout the next year in whatever way we can. So I just wanted to do that shout out to the new group coming in. Now, Jeff, I will call on you for some comments.
All right, thank you. Can you bring up the next slide? So I want to say thank you. Before we get to the town hall proper, I want to give special mention and thanks to my open house chair, Pravina Rahman, and the open house kit team, Pallavi Hedji, who let me hijack her HPL project for the district, for the good of the district, Narendra Patel, the Area 835 director, master of Canva, and Pravina, who was the glue that helped us stick together. And on the PQD side, I had Linda, who helped rustle up a whole list of guest speakers for clubs that needed them, something we call the table of speech content, or table of content for short. Your work is being used even outside District 57 in District 31 and 96. So to kick off the town hall, I want to know, how can we improve the open house kit next year? Because we're looking to roll out version 2 on our way to putting on a fantastic open house events year, or OHAY for short. Did you have a topic you want to speak on in front of an open house, or as part of our year of seminars? And if you're interested, please leave contact information in the chat and we'll add you to the table of content. But if you have questions on where was the open house kit, or how can I use it better, or what's in it, now is the time to ask. I don't know why the slide isn't here because it's on my end. Anyway, that is what I want to open the open house kit, or so open town hall with.
All right, and there is the town hall slide. And let's immediately turn off the share and see what questions, thoughts, comments folks have. And you can take Jeff off highlight as well. All right, this is your chance. Ask your questions, but do it with electronic hand raise so that we can manage the hundreds of questions that I know will be coming in. Wow. Oh, you know what I will tell you is I know that a miracle has happened, but I would say about 90% of the plaques from this year and last year have been put in the mail and received by quite a few people. Hopefully the last handful will go out this week. Some of them are local folks. I was thinking that I would actually deliver them, and I thought, oh, just put them in the mail. So that's going to be happening. They're very expensive to mail. So for next year, I hope people come to events so that you can pick them up in person. They range from anywhere from $5 to $16 per package to mail. So that's been running about, I think it'll end up being about $300 or $400 to mail out the plaques. So I encourage you next year to come and pick up your plaque or arrange to pick up your plaque in person. We can meet, not me, but whoever, can meet at the local Starbucks or Pete's or, whatever, have coffee, hand off the plaque, have a little bit of fun with it. Now.
Pravina has her hand up.
Oh, Pravina, thank you. Pravina, your question.
My question is more a suggestion for the open house. I found that, and I'm finding through the years, that once a club has an open house, doesn't matter if a club is extremely successful or just struggling and getting people, there's always a struggle to convert guests into members. I was wondering, as a group, as a team, the whole district can discuss and come up with some sort of a formula that works, at least, 90% of the time, where we can say that a guest coming to a club can be converted to a member.
All right.
I can address that.
Okay, go ahead.
Two things I always make sure to do. Number one, follow up with the guests. Don't let them go for a couple of days before saying, hey, thank you for coming last night, and keep an ear out for what they did during the meeting. Mention something that they did so they know they were heard. The second thing is, invite them next week. And on top of that, one thing we like to do, based in my own club, we have an open house or even guests showing up, what would you like to see in a future meeting? And then when they say, we want to see something, do that thing. Reach out and say, hey, by the way, this thing you wanted, we're doing it next week. Can you come? And so they feel like not only they're included, they're remembered, and it's something, as Dennis likes to say, what's in it for them? We're making your next meeting what you wanted.
Okay, good thoughts.
Does it work all the time?
It worked pretty well. I mean, we had somebody from the event that we ran for Top of the Hill 2 weeks ago come back this past Wednesday. And the other person we had for South Bay Toastmasters brought a friend the next time.
Okay. Greg Scott, you've got your hand up.
Thank you, Madam Director and fellow Toastmasters. Great to see all of you this morning. When we pay our dues, are we paying dues to be continued a volunteer, or are we paying dues to continue to be in the club to learn? I think we're an educational organization, unlike the Rotary or Lions or Elks or our service club. We are being educated. And why are we doing this? Better leadership skills and better communication skills that we can grow from to help us outside of Toastmasters to be changed for the better, a part of that, or to have our voice heard, or whatever reason you may have joined Toastmasters. When we volunteer to move up from club president to area director, are we volunteering, or are we also becoming a student of leadership? I think that we need to start talking about the trademark to people outside of Toastmasters that may be interested, This is an educational organization, not a volunteer organization, an educational organization where you come and learn. Your dues we gladly pay, like we do in our colleges, a tuition to continue our education. I think that if we start marketing the education of ideas of these two basic ideas of leadership and communications, as well as fellowship, to our folks out there and to our clubs, retention may stay stronger, and the focus of getting people to come in there. For the last over 10 years, I've gotten the 10 new member award, actually about 15 persons a year that I mentor or sign up to different districts to do that. And I don't talk about volunteering. I talk about education, what they will gain and how they can turn that around to be beneficial in their family, their life, their job, and other organizations. So let's start thinking about being educational. Volunteering is not the question. You're going to do that whether you want to or not. And I do appreciate this district for all the recognition of people that you have recognized today, because I firmly believe recognition equals motivation. And I thank each one of them for their outstanding efforts for serving in District 57 this year. Thank you for this time.
Okay. Thank you so much, Greg. Dennis, you have your hand up.
It's a good idea to remind people as you're setting up for open houses, et cetera, that every guest gets asked the same 3 questions at the end of the meeting. What did you think of the meeting today? Do you have any questions about Toastmasters I can answer for you? Would you like to join our club today? And very often people come to the open house and they're not invited to join. So they don't know what to do. They go away. They said, that was a great meeting. I sure hope that I get to go back there at some point. No, this isn't soap that we're selling. This is life-changing communication and leadership skills. And you should never feel shy about saying, hey, would you like to join our club?
Great. Good suggestions. Lindy Sinclair has her hand up.
I think I understand that this is a problem in a lot of clubs, but it's not a problem in my home club. So when we have guests at Watergate Toastmasters, they almost invariably join. And I believe this is the reason why. We always ask them if they would like to take a role in the next meeting. So we're inclusive. We're a friendly group, as I hope all of our clubs are, but we are very inclusive, and we immediately ask them, would you like to come back next week, and what role would you like to take? So they can do things like the hour counter or the timer with somebody guiding them, of course. But the main thing is they feel like part of the family immediately. And I think that's the reason that they join quickly. And they usually join into 1, 2, or 3 meetings. So I strongly recommend that as a process for having your guests turn into members.
Thank you, Lindy. Those are other good ideas of bringing members in. Rose.
Thank you for this moment. I just want to emphasize what Jeffrey shared. When you have open houses or guests, especially to Praveena's question about follow-up, I just want to share that we had a very packed house, successful open house when we combined 4 struggling clubs together, and we did an open house with a unique agenda for 2 hours. And everyone that attended, except for one that lost their way when they left the breakout room, remained through the whole 2 hours. This was the thing. We ended up fulfilling a member for each of those 4 clubs. Why? Because we immediately followed up. Secondly, we paid attention to the survey. You need to get a survey. And to get them to fill out the survey, we motivated them because we had a sponsor who gave 10 Starbucks gift cards. So we said, have a refreshment on us, fill the survey, you'll be entered, etc. But I can't stress enough how follow-up is so critical. follow-up and all these wonderful ideas. But we were very, very fortunate that because whoever we delegated it to do that, did it. And when you do that, it's fresh in their mind, they're excited, they remember the momentum. They don't go back and hear a moan or groan from someone who says, blah, blah, blah. So I would strongly encourage that you do the follow-up. Back to you, Sally. Thank you for letting me share.
Absolutely. Thank you for that share. And the distinction in credit or in gift cards is important. Toastmasters, your club money, your district money does not buy gift cards. However, if an individual in your club or somebody who's sponsoring your club wants to donate gift cards to the club for their use, that's fine. Okay, so for instance, this is good. Well, this will be a surprise to the people, so now I better do it. But I just completed the final elective for a level 5 that required a panel. And the panel and my evaluator will be getting gift cards in the mail this coming week as thank yous, because it allows me to qualify for my Elite Triple Crown. Those gift cards are not from the district. They're from me. So I will not be buying those on my district credit card, okay? So Winnie, you don't need to worry about that. So that's the distinction. You know, if you hear that someone received a gift card, it wasn't from the district or the club, it was from an individual.
It might be a spammer.
All right, any other, Greg Scott?
Yes, thank you for secondly. How many of you have gone to the Toastmasters website to look at prospective members? That's right next to Club Central, and have called and brought that person either to visit your club or to an open house? How many have actually used that? How many people, how many clubs realize that that feature is available that you can look at? I know I attack that thing vigorously. I mean, when I see a club that I belong to, that I have access to, when I see a prospective member, I'm on the phone right now. I'm following up with an email, with an invite, and I'm encouraging them. You know, that lead is just not just to your club. It's to the clubs in the area that they may. So I'm not trying to say be first and grab that person first, but if you want to build your leadership, like Rose said, follow up with immediate contact, an email, talk to them on the phone, answer questions. And like Dennis says, and I'm a firm believer in there, always open the door, invite them to let them know that they can become a member. They don't have to ask or wonder how to ask. They just let us know and we'll take care of it.
Yeah, that's an important point, Greg. I think sometimes we forget about those individual leads where people are looking for clubs, and those come in all the time. And I don't know how many clubs actually pull those leads up and follow up on them. I think a lot of clubs do not. So there's another avenue right there. All right, we are coming up against it. If we have maybe time for one more, and then we'll move into adjournment and and our division council meetings. I'm not adjourning yet, and Jeff is asked to speak.
All right, so if we're done with the town hall questions and comments, one last thing. If you know of officers, new officers for your clubs that have not signed up for TLI, the event is up on the calendar. It is next Saturday. So you have this week to sign up. I'm putting the link to the events page in the chat. Please pass it along to your officers. We currently, last we heard, only 50 people signed up. We have redesigned the TLI this year to be closer to what we did a few years ago. So we have just officer training. We also have breakout sessions for people who want to stick around and do more than just be there for officer training. The key to getting people to be there is to have content people are interested in seeing. And also, we're looking for trainers for the makeup trainings later on. The division directors don't know it yet, but we're hoping to provide them trainers and hopefully asking more than the usual suspects, because getting more people out in front changes up the message, changes up the lessons, And you can put your own spin on what happens in officer training if you so choose. Janet, you have your hand up?
Yes, for once, I am not a club officer. Can I still go to TLI?
Yes, you can. One thing we're doing this year as well is we are adding a breakout session for onboarding new club members. For all the people who say, I can't get into pathways, all the people who say, how do I get to concur? For all the people who say, what do I sign in the first place? This is what this is for. We have somebody working on their DTM project who has an onboarding project, and we were told at media training, please add an onboarding session to your TLI. So we're doing that this year. So if you have someone who's joined the club in the last 2 months, send them the TLI.
And thank you for asking that question, Janet. I know why you asked it, and I appreciate giving us the opportunity to make a spiel on that educational session, or help session, maybe I should call it.
Hey, I have a question for you about what you just said about the onboarding. How are those people, new members, being informed of that offering?
We're planning on sending out a district-wide email using the Off Digest broadcast system to send an email to everyone, especially the new members. And I'm thinking that maybe possibly using the the club membership list to filter anyone who has joined after April 1st.
I think a targeted thing would be really nice.
Okay. Yeah, I need to sync up with the person who's giving the training, because I haven't seen it myself, and I want to make sure it has everything we need. But he said it's given it before, and like I said, we were told, can you have this as part of the TLI?
That's great. I signed up for TLI, and I'm not an officer, so
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, the other panels that we have there are going to be for better, excellent clubs, and I'm running one of my improv sessions.
Oh, that's great.
Because if you volunteer everyone else, you volunteer yourself.
Yes.
And I was hoping to give at least one of the other Kickstarted clubs a platform to talk about what their club does as well, but that might not happen.
Okay.